What if I told you you can unlock your door with the wave of a hand? What's going on, everybody? I'm Average Joe, and welcome to another Average video. Today's video is actually sponsored by Eufy. If you're not familiar with my channel, I've done a video on the S330 PTZ camera. I actually have that out in my tree right now, pointing at my back fence area because people do like to crash into that area. So I just wanted to keep an eye on that area. And I also did another video on 2 of the S3 Pros, which are actually out in my front yard. I do have another video camera system, but I had 2 kind of like blind spots. So these 2 cameras are pointing in those directions. And I do have to mention real quick that the night vision on those are unbelievable. And of course, those 2 cameras did come with the S380 home base. All of those have been working fan-freaking-tastically. But in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Eufy FamiLock S3 Max. This is a smart lock that you would put on your front door, back door, you know, really any door that you want, except for maybe like a screen door. I don't think it'll work with those. I don't have a smart lock. I've never used a smart lock. I don't really know anything about a smart lock. So today's video, we're going to learn about this together. We're going to install it, and we're going to take a look at all the features and all of that kind of fun stuff. Alrighty, so let's get to it. All right, so what we got here is the Eufy FamiLock S3 Max, and it says you can unlock with a wave. Your palm is your key. These are not the droids you're looking for. Local security, no monthly fees. This is the Palm Vein ID, and it has power duo, which means 2 sources of power, and head-to-toe view video camera right there. All right, we'll flip the box over to this side. What do we got over here? Enjoy anywhere access with the free Eufy app, which I do have since I have a couple of the cameras. You got the Matter, BHMA certified. I'm not exactly sure what that is. It works with Google, Alexa, you know, and you can get those apps. All right, on the back, the Eufy FamiLock is designed for every family member that you have. And we scroll down just a little bit, and these are going to be all the features right here. Alrighty, so palm vein unlocking. I've never heard of that before, so it doesn't look like we're using fingerprints anymore. Secure, convenient for all ages, and friendlier than a fingerprint unlocking. Advanced 3-in-1 triple security. Enjoy seamless front door security with palm vein unlock, camera, and doorbell. Wi-Fi 6 certified, so fast and stable for a seamless operation. Power duo, so dual power systems ensure continuous operation and reliability. Apple home support. I don't have anything Apple, so I can't do anything with that one. BHMA1 certified, so it's top rated for residential security, durability, and finish. 2K head-to-toe view, so we have a high-resolution 2K video for clear, comprehensive monitoring. Built-in door sensor, real-time door status detection for enhanced home security. And then finally, the interior screen, clear status display for quick and easy security checks. So again, there's going to be a little tiny screen on the back side of that lock. Right down here at the bottom, it shows everything inside the box. So we got the exterior keypad, the interior assembly with screen. We get your deadbolt, rechargeable batteries, and 4 AAA batteries. We get a strike plate, a reinforced strike plate, screw kits, 2 keys, and then your quick start guide. And then finally on the last side of the box, local security with no monthly fees. However, you can add fees if you want by doing cloud storage and all that kind of fun stuff, but I am not gonna do that. All right, to break it down and maybe make it a little more easier to understand, this is a smart lock. It has a infrared scanner right up here on the top that's gonna scan your hand or your palm to read all of your veins underneath your skin, because that is a little more secure than your fingerprint. And also another thing that kind of makes this nice is since your fingerprint can be, I guess, easily, you can copy them pretty easy, and you cannot copy veins inside of your hand. So the veins in your hand are, you know, basically yours. Nobody else can replicate those. You know, for old people, young people, doesn't matter the age. And I guess the other thing for fingerprints is even if your hand's slightly dirty, it can still read all that. If your fingerprint's dirty, and you have a fingerprint scanner, your door's not going to unlock. This has a higher first-time pass rate versus a fingerprint scanner from 85% to 99.9999999%. The camera on here is a 2K 5 megapixel camera. The field of view is 150 by 150 by 180, so you can capture a 2.5 meter person, which is 8 feet here in the United States. That's a big person. So you can capture basically from head to toe plus some. It's got clear day and night vision capability, so if it is dark out there, you're still going to be able to see whoever's out there. This is also the very first smart lock that has dual power technology. What that means is it's got 2 sets of batteries. You've got some AAA batteries for backup, and then you got your main lithium battery, which is 15,000 milliamp hour for uninterruptible power. So to break that down is the AAA batteries that you're going to put in here are going to be your backup batteries, and the lithium battery is going to be the main battery. It is rechargeable, so you are going to have to recharge it. The backup battery or AAA batteries are there, so whenever you pull out the lithium battery to recharge it, you're still going to be able to use the lock. And of course, inside the app, you're going to be able to track and identify people just lingering around with the AI detection. All right, let's open this up and take a look. All right, so this is going to be the keypad and everything that's going on the outside of your door. All right, so that looks really, really nice, and it has a good heft to it, by the way. Next is a sticker if you want to scare people away. Next box, gonna be the deadbolt, some keys, hardware. We got the strike plates right here, 4 Anchor AAA batteries. This is going to be your screen and how you can unlock it and stuff from the inside. Finally, down here, the rechargeable battery right here, okay? So USB-C to charge that up, which I will probably throw it on a charger here in just a moment. All right, just a closer look at the exterior assembly or the keypad. So starting up here on the top center is going to be your 2K camera. To the right of that's going to be your microphone. Obviously, right here in the center is going to be your keypad. This button right here is going to be a lock button, so whenever you leave your house, etc., you can push that to lock the house. And of course, right down here, you can see that is a doorbell. And then finally, right over here on the left-hand side is going to be the speaker for the two-way talk. And of course, you might be asking yourself, where do the keys go if the batteries ever die? They're actually underneath the doorbell right here. So you're gonna grab that and then rotate it to the side so you get easy access to the deadbolt right there. And this also has a nice little rubber seal on there to keep it watertight. All right, and then you just pop that right back on. And then on the back side, there really isn't a whole bunch except for the 2 wires, okay? Moving on to the interior assembly with the screen. So of course, right here in the center, that's gonna be your screen. You just push this button right here and your screen will turn on. Right below that is gonna be your manual deadbolt, or if your hands are full, you can just push that button right there. For the back side, there really isn't much except for part of the mounting right here. This comes off, so this is part of the mounting system. Yeah, that's pretty much it right here, except for your wire attachment points right here that are on the exterior assembly. And then the last thing is going to be your batteries. So you have your lithium battery right here, and then your AAA batteries right there. So to insert those, you actually pull off the front cover just like that. So the lithium battery is going to go right in here, and then right up here towards the top, that's going to be where your 4 AAA batteries go. And that is pretty much it. To put your front cover back on, same thing in reverse, just pop it back on. Boom. Alrighty, let's get this installed. All right, there is one little thing I got to mention real quick before we actually do the install. Is I was originally going to put the smart lock on my front door. However, In the instructions, it says it does not really work very well if you have a screen or glass door like I have right here, because once you actually have it installed on your door right here, the camera is not going to be able to see around that because this is going to block it. So I'm not going to be installing it on my front door for two reasons. Is obviously I have the screen or glass door up front and the camera's just going to be blocked. And for two is we actually don't really use our front door very often. We really only use it if we have packages out in the front or if somebody comes to visit, which nobody ever really does that. So we really don't even use the front door. I'm actually going to be installing it on my garage door because that is our main entry point into the house. And I guess the third thing would be is anytime we leave the house, we do go through the garage, but that also includes, you know, going outside and doing stuff in the yard. A lot of the times I'll go around back and leave the garage door open. So the garage door is actually a perfect place for my house. So back in 2007 when we bought our home, these are the deadbolt or locks that they had installed on the front door and the garage door. I mean, they work just fine if you're inside the house. However, if you're outside, we don't actually have the keys for these. So of course, naturally, the only thing that I did do was change out the door handles, you know, with locks that we could actually use. So the other thing with these really old locks on these doors is I'm gonna have to re-drill my holes, and then I'm also gonna have to do the deadbolt hole right over here on the side. So of course, if you're in a newer home, all of these are going to be drilled for you. However, if you're in an older home and it has a really old lock, you may have to drill new holes. Now they do make a template system that you can buy that can be put on the door so you know exactly where to drill, etc. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be doing it my own DIY style. So that's what I'm going to do here real quick. Before I install the deadbolt, I need to chisel out the recessed area. All right, step one is going to be installing the deadbolt, and depending on your distance right over here from your previous lock, this is adjustable, so you could just take it and twist it for the 2 3/4 or twist it back in. So we're going to go ahead and throw that right in there, and then of course each little baggie is labeled. So this one is deadbolt screws, and it comes with 2 screws right here. Next step is the exterior assembly or the keypad. Next step is going to be installing this mounting plate right here. So that should be easy enough. Slide those through. And then the next thing we're going to do is install these 2 longer Phillips head screws. Next step, we're going to be installing the inner assembly, and of course when we do this you're going to need the front cover off because we need access to these 4 screw holes right here. And then on the back side, what we need to do first is attach the 2 wires to their 2 locations, one up here and one right here. It is very tight. Okay, that was a little easier than I thought. Okay, now we can install those 4 screws into the 4 holes. Next step is going to be installing the reinforcement and strike plate right here. Now the first one we're going to do is the reinforcement because it has 2 screws that are a lot bigger and a lot longer. And this is where the security part comes through. These ones actually go into the door frame. That's why you want these bigger screws here. Then next is going to be the nicer cover with the 2 smaller screws. Next, we're going to do the AAA batteries. And then next, we'll do the lithium battery. Okay, put the lock on.
Welcome to eufy Smart Lock. Please download the eufy app to complete setup.
Okay, next thing we need to do is, if you don't have the app, you're going to go ahead and download that. If you do already have it like I do, it looks like all we need to do is add this to it. So open up the eufy app. I'm going to hit the plus sign up here. Add device. Go down here to Smart Lock. Oh, there is a QR code behind this which we need to scan. That's why we're supposed to leave that off. Please first install your smart lock, then close the door and rotate the thumb to make sure the bolt can be extended and retracted smoothly. which I can. Finished the installation. I'm going to put the cover back on, connect to my router, long press the setup button.
Please press the confirm button on the keypad to reset.
This is going to be the garage door next. You got to set a passcode, palm vein recognition. Simply bring your hand close to the lock and the system will quickly verify. Next, go left hand.
Open your palm naturally and place it about 4 inches from the...
Okay, done. All right, supposed to do it in all sorts of conditions. Keep your palm clean if you can. Palm vein recognition not support locking. Okay, to reduce power consumption, palm vein authentication can only be used for unlocking, not locking, okay? Palm vein recognition disabled on a low battery, okay? So when your lithium battery is depleted, palm vein recognition will be turned off to reduce the power consumption. All right, so this icon right here, like I mentioned earlier, you can do one-touch locking. So like if you leave, you can just hit that to lock it. All right, so you can do auto lock if you want to do that. I'm not going to do that at the moment. And then lock, unlock, you know, on the other side, which I do like that option. All right, Power Duo power supply system, 15,000 milliamp hour rechargeable lithium battery, plus your 4 AAA for backups. So my battery is only at 64%, so I am going to pull this out to fully recharge it. All right, I didn't know my wireless microphone died, so sorry about that. It was the recording from my phone. So once I figured that out, I paused the video and recharged my microphone. So now we're sitting over here. And while I was waiting, I did connect it to the home base. All right, so here's the home screen with the garage door, which it's attached to right now, and then the other cameras that I have. So anyway, we're going to click on the settings menu right here, and this is going to be all of our options, okay? So as you can see right in the center, we are connected to the home base right here. All right, so you can do that. So all of your recordings and stuff, if you don't have the home base, they will save to the lock. I think it's like a 1 gig storage in there, okay? But if you do have the home base, everything will be stored to the home base. Okay, so that's how I have mine set up. Okay, so underneath that we have motion detection, and there's a bunch in here. All right, so you can enable or disable motion detection. And for me, I think the reason, well, not only because our front door has the extra screen door or glass door, the main reason I want it on the garage door is whenever I'm outside, I usually leave the garage, you know, the garage door open. Not that I'm worried about people just entering my garage or entering my house, but the potential is there. So that was kind of like the main reason that I wanted it over there, just in case somebody entered into my garage space. So I do want motion detection. I'm not so worried about vehicle or pet detection. It's mainly for human detection. Okay, so I do have those two enabled. Of course, you can enable or disable whatever you want. Right below that is the detection distance. I just left it how it is, and it's set on 20 feet. Right below that is going to be loitering detection. So set the range and detection duration that you consider a person to be loitering. Now, technically, this one would be ideal for my situation and why I want it on my garage door. However, the thickness of my wall right next to the lock, you can actually see that thickness there, so I don't get a full view of my garage, but I do get a full view of, you know, the garage door area, and that way. I don't think I'm gonna enable this one, but you do have that option. So if this was facing your front door, or maybe even like a back patio door or something like that, I think this option would be a good option to enable. I'm not going to enable it, at least right now. Right below that is leaving detection, which maybe, you know what? I'm gonna enable that one. Because this door lock can also tell whenever the door has been opened and closed, so if somebody is sneaking out, maybe you got a kid that likes to sneak out, not anymore, because you're gonna get an alert on your phone. Which I will now too. So leaving reactions, notify you when a leaving is detected. If someone leaves, then you can do push notifications. Oh, leaving response, because I did set up a response in here. I didn't really know what it was for quite yet. You can customize the effective time period of the rule. So I'm guessing this is more for like a time frame type of thing. So I'm just gonna leave it I'm just going to leave it as it is for right now. Alrighty, and then right below that is going to be your activity zone. So only set a motion zone if you're using the human upper body or all motion sensitivity levels. So we'll just click on that and it should show up what my door looks like or what it looks like out that camera like I was talking about. Okay, so now you can see on the right side my wall right there. So I don't get a full view of the garage, but I do get the main portion. So in here you can set up activity zones. So basically you would just, so if you needed certain areas, you could just, you could move this to wherever you want, basically. Something like that. And then you would just hit the check mark. So that's going to be your activity zone. Back out of there, the next one would be manage access. So these are all the people that you would want to have access to that door or lock. Basically, you would set it up for every member of your family, or if you got somebody like dog sitting, for us it'd be cat sitting, you can scan their hands in there as well so they can easily get in and out of your place. Yeah, and all you do is go in here and then you just add the person and it'll go through the same thing like I just did a minute ago, where it'll have you put your hand like 4 inches above the palm reading sensor, and then it'll scan it, and then it'll add that person, and you can just add a name, etc. Super, super easy. Right below that, this is that quick response. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. I just threw one in here. You have to record a saying of at least 3 seconds, but no more than 10 seconds. Hello there. You can add whatever you want. And then we have your power manager. So we'll click on that. This is going to give you your battery percentage. So your lithium battery is like the main battery, okay? And then those 4 AAA batteries is more as a backup. So while you're recharging your battery, you still have the 4 AAA batteries in there. Anyway, so in here it's going to show you your percentage of battery charge that you have left. So right now mine's at 97%. Right below that is the detection statistic. So I've got 1 event and 1 recording. That's probably me standing over there trying to set everything up. And then right below that is going to be your working mode. So you got optimal battery life balance like I have, optimal surveillance, and then you can do customized, okay? I just left mine with the balance surveillance. I think that one's going to be fine. And then at the very bottom you have video recording mode. No recording while unlocked. So you can enable or disable that. I have mine disabled because I want it to record even though I have the door unlocked. It's kind of how I envisioned it set up. Because whenever I go outside, I mean, I'm not going to lock this door, but I still want it to record. So for mine, I have it disabled. All right, so that's everything in the power managing area. All right, and then we have a whole bunch of other settings down here. So auto lock. All right, so this one is auto lock with a preset timer. So you can set a timer for this to automatically lock whenever you leave. I do not want to have that one enabled. This is actually our main entry and exit point. We hardly ever use the front door, so I don't want that thing to lock, every 10 seconds. One touch locking is the next one, which we do have enabled. That's going to be, the one touch lock button on the outside. So whenever you leave, you don't have to do anything special. You just hit that little button, unless you have the timer on, then you can go that way too. But for me, this one is going to be the better option. I can just push that button and it'll automatically lock. Next one down is wrong try protection. So wrong try protection, which is enabled by default. If someone enters an incorrect passcode or palm too many times in a row, a lockdown period will occur. So you can enable or disable that. And then if you manage to do this 5 times in a row incorrectly, then you can set the lockdown time. And again, the default is set for 3 minutes. Scramble passcode. So you can unlock your door by entering some random numbers before or after your passcode. Not more than 16 digits in total. I would imagine that would be if somebody is standing near you and you don't want them to see the entire code. You can push in some random numbers along with your passcode that you entered in whenever you set it up, and then it's going to unlock the door. Pretty sure that's what that one is for. Next one is integrate the doorbell with the camera. So you can connect your lock with your eufy doorbell or eufy camera and control your lock while watching live. Okay, so if I had more cameras, you know, pointing in my garage direction, this one would be perfect. Next one is the indoor chime. So you can do eufy doorbell chime, which I don't have, but if you have that, you can attach that here. Home base as the chime. My home base is actually down here, so I'm not gonna use that one, but if I had it upstairs, you know, in an area that we were pretty much at all the time, then I would probably use that one. Or if you have Alexa, you can use that one as well, which I don't have Alexa either. Next one is your video settings, so you can have a watermark or not. I always turn that one off. Your streaming quality, I just leave mine on auto, but you can change that to low, medium, and high. Next one is going to be your recording quality. So 2K HD video playback is not supported on every phone, as it is a hardware dependent type of thing. I would imagine most phones nowadays it would be just fine, but maybe if you had a really, really old phone, maybe you would do the legacy phone, which it's already defaulted on. I'm actually going to change mine to the 2K HD. This is a Android S21. So it should be just fine. Next one is HDR mode. So HDR is a technology designed to enhance contrast between light and dark places, basically. I did enable mine, so you can turn that on or off. Might as well turn it on, right? And then finally, the last one on here is black and white night vision. The infrared LED will turn on when motion is detected at night. So I do have mine enabled, and I think it was enabled by default. Audio settings is next. So you got the microphone, audio recording, enable audio recording when recording clips. Why wouldn't you have that enabled? You have the speaker on or off, and you can do the speaker volume, ringtone volume, and then the beep volume. I just changed mine to soft. That was the only thing I changed on this page. And then next one down is your screen settings. So in here you can do wide angle mode or full screen mode. I did full screen mode, and I'll show you why real quick. So you can move this rectangle around. Obviously I moved mine all the way to the left, and that gets rid of the door frame that'll show up on that screen over there. I don't know, yours might be different. Maybe you don't need to do what I have here. Your on-screen time, so whenever you push the button over there, you can change that time from auto or 5 seconds to 30 seconds. I just changed mine to 30 seconds. The lock and unlock button, manually locking and locking indoors, which is this button right here. So I am going to enable that one. And then we have your notifications. So you got motion detection, doorbell ring, doors locked, door unlocked, the relative history event, live view. You know, you got a ton of settings in here. I mean, I don't think I need to go through every single one of them. And then in your general, you have the name of whatever door you're attached to, which mine is the garage door. Storage, you got your local storage or your cloud backup. Cloud is going to cost money. All right, well, that's pretty much everything inside the app. There's a million different options that you can choose from. Next thing we'll do is we'll go over there to the actual lock. We'll push some buttons and we'll do some palm readings. All right, so at the door lock, we're gonna push all the buttons and do all the palm readings that we can. And this is basically gonna be just a demonstration. All right, so first thing we'll do is hit the button here, and that should turn on the screen. All right, so there you go. Now you can see out into the garage. We can see our Wi-Fi connection up here. We can see our AAA battery. We're at 100%, and then our lithium battery is 96% state of charge. And then remember just a minute ago where I could adjust the viewing. Basically, I got rid of the inside part of this door so I can just see what I want to see, which is kind of cool actually. And of course that timer I had set for 30 seconds. All right, next thing we're going to do real quick is we're going to hit the lock button, and I should get a notification. There we go. Got the notification right up there. That took maybe 3 seconds. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do the unlock button. You can actually see it right over here on the screen as well. Okay, now it's unlocked and we got our notification. If we just want to view out there through the app, we can click on that or on the picture. turn off the sound for now. All right, I just had to turn the sound off, otherwise we might get an echo. So as you can see on the phone screen, we do actually get the full picture, and we do see that inner part of my wall / door right there. All right, so we should be able to do all the same functions right here. So we're gonna hold down the lock button. There it goes. And it did take a couple of seconds for that to recognize it, but it did finally do it. All right, we'll go ahead and unlock it. And there we go. And we are getting all the notifications up here on the top of the screen, as you can see. Okay, so also in here we can do record, screenshot, we can call or talk through it. We can do, I guess, a custom reply, and then you can turn on and off the sound, which I did at the beginning just so we don't get a weird echo. I'm gonna back out of there real quick, and we do have the little tiny lock unlock button right here as well, and we should be able to hold this one down for a couple of seconds. Yep, and it will go ahead and lock, get our notification, and we can do the same thing and unlock it. Boom. And I did turn on basically every single notification just for this example. So I'm gonna go outside, I'll leave the camera in here. My automatic light's gonna turn on out here. So let me push this button so you guys can see what's happening here. And I just had to turn off the microphone. I'm just gonna walk over here to the garage door real quick, around this way. So you can see me all up in here. Actually really good. At least on the phone screen you can. All right, next example is if the lights are off and you start to get a little bit closer, the lights are going to turn on so you can see what's actually happening right here. All right, next example would be is if you just left your house and you needed to lock this. So you should be able to just hold this button down and the door locks. Nice. Of course, we got our notification on the phone. All right, now we're gonna return back home and we're going to do the palm scan. And that worked actually really good. Okay, now I'm gonna lock it again and we're gonna do the other hand. All right, we're also gonna do the right hand as well, just in case your hands are full and you have one hand free. So here's my right hand. And that actually works really quick. Okay, nice. All right, next one is gonna be if for some reason your hands are super dirty or it's not reading your palm for some reason, you can also enter in your code. So I'm gonna block this a little bit just so you don't see my code, but here it goes. Boom, there we go. All right, next example again is, let me lock it real quick, and we're going to enter in some random numbers beforehand, and then I'm gonna enter in my code. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my code, okay? Boom, there we go. Okay, so technically I entered in a 12-digit code, even though my code is not that long. So that part does work pretty good. All right, next we'll do the doorbell. It's on the other side, and this actually shows up. This actually shows up on the screen, letting you know that somebody is out here. All right, well, I don't really know what else I can show you at the moment because everything is working out fan-freaking-tastically. And I guess the last thing, of course, is you can still turn this manually if you like, and it does have a little tiny alert beep, and you'll get the notifications on your phone for locking and unlocking. Alrighty, there you go. I'm pretty sure that's basically everything I can show you, other than there was one other thing I wanted to show you on the app, which I already removed it because I pushed the button already. But on the app, if you want to see, you know, any or all of your events, you can click right here. It shows a 0, and it'll basically take you to any or all events that have happened for that day. And of course, on the top, you can scroll through days if you need to go, you know, back a couple of days, etc. Another thing you can do if you're not familiar with the eufy stuff, or maybe you are familiar but you didn't know, you know, it has facial recognition and all that kind of stuff in there. So it does have me in there for, you know, face recognition. I don't have the wife's in there quite yet, but we'll probably do that here in the next couple of days. Other than that, the only other thing I could add is it is kind of nice being able to lock and unlock your door from the touch of your phone or from the wave of your hand. That is pretty damn awesome. Alrighty, yeah, well that's pretty much all I got. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, maybe there's something I missed or didn't quite explain very well, make sure you put those down in the comment section. And of course, if anybody is interested in incorporating the Wave unlock to your home, I'm gonna have links down below. All right, that's pretty much all I got. Don't forget to like that smash button on your way out, and I'll see you on the yes, my seal is coming off. That is next to my green lead paint right here. What I kind of want to test out is the microphone and stuff like that, but I don't really know how to do that without getting a feedback. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here. And I'm going to put the microphone on the wife's car right there. All right, can you hear me out there? I have no idea. You know why? Because I'm talking to myself.